Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lascelles Marais from Now Novel, and today I'm going to be interviewing one of our very own coaches, Z Monodee. She is a lover and author of many feel-good romances. I hope you enjoy getting to know her a bit today.
Hi Z, thank you so much for having an interview with me today. You're in Mauritius right now. How has the island
Yeah,
of Mauritius, where you are from and currently based, inspired your writing?
basically what I wanted to do for Mauritius when I started writing, because Mauritius wasn't in any destination, in any story. There weren't any like romances about the people who live here, and that's what I wanted to get out and
Okay.
really make it more well known. Because we all know Mauritius has the tourist spot, the beaches and everything, but get from land. How are the people? What are they doing? How are they living their lives? Um, Is it fun? Is it light? Is it dark? Is it dramatic? That's um, that's the sort of bird's view I wanted to give. We don't have that. We don't see what life in Mauritius is like, and I was okay. I want to write that. That's what I'm going to talk about. That's what I'm going to show in my writing, and that's how it got started, basically.
And you have written many feel-good romances. What sustains your love and interest for writing these stories?
Happy ending.
Mm.
I mean, and it's a fun journey. I think we all read for fun, for escapism, for just just have a good time. And I think to me that's romance. That's the joy of romance. You can have comedy, you can have drama, you can have ups and lows, but at the end of the day, you know you're on a happy journey and you're going to get to a happy ending. You're going to have that happy sour when you close the book. That's the spur for me to write feel good stories. I write stories I want to read, so I
Mm.
think that translates into romance mostly.
Can you give us a little teaser of what the coaching process is like with you? And what are three main things that you focus on in coaching?
I coach very slowly in the sense that if let's say we use an analogy, you're coming to me and writing a book is like doing a 5K marathon. You want to start writing right away. I'm not going to get you to start writing right away. I'm going to start you with the smaller exercises, like build up your muscles first and then start running, know how to run, and then you run for the big thing. Um, I'm not that much about the big picture as much as it's about the details of your writing, know story, knowing yourself, knowing how you write, what's the best way for you to put a story across. And I always tell my clients that the first thing, the most important thing is getting the first draft done, right from start to finish, because there's not much you can do without finished work. You can elaborate, you can um, deepen it, you can polish it, but you can't do that with a blank page, and you can't do that with an unfinished story. And that might make me unpopular, maybe, but I will get you to write from start to finish and discover yourself along the way. Have fun with the process of writing, find out what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and basically how you personally are as an author. That's maybe a longer process, a slower process. That's what you'll be getting if you get me as a coach.
But that sounds extremely interesting because, like you said, it's a really great analogy of if you're training for a marathon, and
Yeah,
because obviously a book is it's not sprints, it is a marathon. You train them first, and then you get them these exercises first, and then you go on to the writing part. And I feel like that's
yeah,
really crucial because you can't just say, okay, yeah, now do that and let's just start writing. Some people need to just start writing and get it all out, but I feel like some people,
yeah,
and you foster out who they are as writers and what their
exactly.
voice
It's
is.
definitely a tailored process, but um, the gist of it with me, I'll get you to write start to finish and find yourself along
Mm. I think that's really important for people who um, struggle to find their voice.
the way. Yeah, and that's a sort of like it's a trial and error because I myself went through that. I tried different genres, I tried writing different point of views, And I did all that once I was already published. So it was like running against the clock because I had deadlines for a new book, and I kept blocking on maybe this one is a comedy, so maybe it should be in first person, but I can't write first person to save my life. So that was really frustrating for me. And if I had done all this before I had gone for publishing, it would have been a much more rewarding and fun journey. It would have been fun. Let's try something new today. Let's do this. Let's do that. Oh, it doesn't work. Never mind. I can fall back on the other. I know I work well in this manner. But you can't do that once you publish. You don't have that luxury of time, that luxury of, I won't say being casual with it, but really yourself along the process, because a deadline looming on you, it it sometimes like sucks the joy out of it, because you see the deadline looming and you're like, I've got to do this, I've got to get there, but where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
So that's that's why I try to get my clients to realize that where they are, most of the time these are first time writers, right? So where they are at a point where they can really enjoy themselves. They can make that process really a joyful one for them until they get to that full book written. It's not a race against the clock, because you're not going to get that time back once you're published. So enjoy the time now. Um, be in the moment and have fun with it. And and then there's not going to be that feeling, oh, I should have done that earlier.
With the people you coach, you want them to find the joy in writing it.
Exactly, because the joy is going to sustain you. If you do something and you find joy in it, you're going to want to come back to it. You're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be like an escape for you. Even when it's a job, even when you're writing to deadlines, writing is going to be joyful. It's going to be something you look forward to, and it's not a chore. It's not something dreaded. That's a feeling I don't want people to have. I don't want people to have, because I went through this, and like you were saying, you start some work and you don't know where you're going with it, and then you slam into a wall, and then it's like, maybe you've written 50,000 words, and what am I going to do with that now? It's really I would say disappointing, but it's discouraging. Whereas if you taken your time, had fun with it, just like you're like, okay, I wrote 5,000 words, it doesn't work, never mind, scrape that, I'll start again. And you're not slamming into walls. That's the thing I pretty much want them. I mean, I want to protect them from that slamming into walls, because it's really terrible. It's an awful feeling, and if you can spare someone that, then yeah.
And what would you say is your favorite romantic trope?
Second chances.
Okay.
My first book was about second chances. Right now the title is the one that got away, so that's basically a trope I really really like to play with, because we're not the same people at different stages of our lives. So if something maybe didn't work when we were teenagers or when we were young adults, maybe when we're a little bit older, more mature, more wizened, and conversant with life gives us a second chance, and we can try for it again. I really like that idea. I really like the hope of it. And if I had to keep writing a single trope for the rest of my life, that's the one I would choose. Yeah.
I love that. My favorite trope is enemies to lovers. I don't know why.
Oh, that's
I
so much
love it. I
fun.
love that. And so, have your own experiences and struggles and life journey influenced your writing in any way?
Like I was telling you, I'm of Indian heritage, and that makes it often into my stories. My heroines come from the same background as I do, and then you have the mothers that want to marry them as soon as they turn 20, or the overbearing aunties, the gossip, and I mean that's the world I grew up in, and that's the world I knew best. So a lot of it comes into my writing. Um, but yeah, I think there's a part of us in every story we write, even if it doesn't get expressed exactly as the same I don't know, the same conflict, the same idea, but translated into whatever you're putting out. A part of you goes out in there.
Mm.
Like for example, I actually started writing because I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 22. So it was like my life could possibly be over in less than a year, and I've always wanted to be a writer. So why should I wait? I can't wait anymore. I'm going to write, and that's how I started my first story. And then the journey of being of going through breast cancer and being a breast cancer survivor, that also made it into one of my stories. That was the heroine faced the same kind of diagnosis and all the stuff that I went through. And yeah, there are like obvious parts of me that go into stories, but like I was telling you, the hope of a second chance, the hope of finding the right person, to finding your person, I think that gets into all my stories. Yeah,
That's
I
very
mean,
beautiful. That's very beautiful.
yeah, I
And
think you can see a lot of every author into their own story, even if they tell you it's not them, but a part of them makes it into every story.
mm, and I can understand in that way, um, because you are a survivor, and that idea of second chances comes very much into your
Yeah,
story because you felt like you were given a second chance.
definitely. It was a second chance at life. Fortunately, I'd already found love with my husband, but that translates into everybody can get a second chance at any point, and that idea carries through into my stories. Yeah.
Mm. That's very beautiful. And so then with those feel good romances, you're also getting that sense of it's not just like empty or shallow. There's actually, because I think a lot of people who aren't really into that genre assume that it's just wishy-washy feel good romances, that it's like, okay,
Yeah,
we know how it's going to turn out, but there's actually so much heart when you really put in your life experiences, and
exactly. Yeah.
so much heart that you can get out of it.
Yeah, I sometimes feel like feel-good romance is often more immersive than any other genre, because that you have to write the character without any without any facade. You have to go really deep into them and really show them into the page. And I think the readers know that, and they read it for this kind of immersive feel, like they go on the journey right along with the characters, not just like um, it's fully being the character, not just in their shoes, but in their head, in their heart, and their feelings and their experiences. You have a better scope of showing all that in a feel good romance, because you can't hide, for example, behind sexy scenes. You can't hide behind action scenes, like in a thriller. You can't really hide from the fact that you have to bear your heart out, and that's the core of feel good romance, the heart of it. Readers are looking for that, and you really got to deliver that when you're writing it. And
Mm.
writing the heart of a person is like really being the person you're trying to communicate through to your audience.
Mm. And out of your many works, which one would you say is your favorite and why, if you had to choose?
Uh, Favorite to say, it's like my first book, because it was about second chances, but it's really that first series, because it follows the lives of three sisters in Mauritius, what they go through with their family, finding love, um, finding their place in society in today's world. They want to fight for career, they want love at the same time, but then there's maybe their mother is trying to marry them off, or there's gossip and whatever. But it's really something that's close to my heart, because it's very much the world I grew up in, the world I live in. So it's very representative of me, I'd say. And yeah,
And
that's
can
the
you say
series.
the name of the
It's
series
my
again?
Island Girls, Three Sisters in Mauritius.
Okay. And are you releasing any new work in the near future?
Hopefully by the end of the year, I'm going back to one of my series, which is set in a small village in Surrey, in England. So it's a bit like a soap opera. It follows a certain couple. They're like big families in the village. So at one point, it's this brother meets this person, or the sister in this one, or the sister-in-law from the other one. And it just keeps going. You have a recurring cast throughout the series. And yeah, the location as well. I really like little villages set in the English country. So hopefully book 4 of that is coming out at the end of this year.
Thank you so much for chatting to me today. It was really,
Oh,
really
thank you for having
wonderful.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.